Hey folks, JD here, and today we're going to be unboxing the Elegoo Mars Pro 2. Now, as some of you will know if you've looked on the channel, I've had the Elegoo Mars 1 for a while. I decided it was time to upgrade. There was two main things about this particular upgrade that I wanted, and I'm really glad that they've actually finally done something about it. The first one was, as I'm in a small home office setting, I've got adequate ventilation for a resin printer. But I did find that there was no sort of extraction method in the first Elegoo Mars. So when they announced that they were going to bring this out, I kept a close eye on it to see if they would add any sort of extraction method to it, which they have. I am very happy to say. That's one. And the second one I'll take you through in a couple of minutes. Already, it's slightly larger, definitely thicker than the original. That would be, I would imagine, to take into consideration the extractor fan that it's got built into it and the carbon filter block that filters out the resin smell. Now, I use water washable resin anyway, this stuff, so it doesn't smell that much, if anything, to be perfectly honest with you. And unlike if you get non-water washable resin, that stuff stinks. Well, and then you mix that with the isopropyl alcohol, and again, it's just smell city. So let's just move this out of the way. I think they've made it somehow. It feels, even though it's larger, I know this may sound a bit silly, but it feels slightly lighter as well. Let's take that off. Let's peel this off the UV cover. Now, the second thing that I said I was looking forward to, and I kept an eye out with, and they've added it to this one. They didn't have it on the first one, or if they did, certainly mine didn't come with it. And that is, let's get that off first before I talk. Right, the second thing is they've added a rubber seal to this. So there's a rubber seal in here that fits around the outside. Actually, it's probably in the toolkit. That also helps with the smell as well. So let's have a little look. How is this? Is that just placed on? No, how is this coming off? Oh, it is. It's just a little bit tight. Okay, so it's on the mechanism. So just pull it off ever so slowly. Don't want to do any damage to the components in any way. There we go. Actually, they've done a lot to this. They have made it so much. It certainly feels so much larger anyway. There's your print head. Beautiful. Got a bit of perspex in there. Don't forget to take that off before you use it. And then if we pull this off, now, yes, look at this. Okay, I'm going to pull that off as well. There are lots of little differences here. Yes, we could talk about the differences between the glass. We could talk about the differences between the printer itself from a resolution standpoint. But the bits that I'm interested in, one is this extractor fan system, which is here. That then, if I just put that there, that then sucks in all the resin smell and then blows out clean air from the back. Whether or not it's going to remove all of the resin particles, I don't know. But anyway, we could talk about the screen. The screen itself has been redeveloped. It is new. It's thicker, slightly, because the other one was so paper thin. If anything got stuck in between this screen and the bottom of the FEP plate here, then you would just smash the screen. Fortunately, I didn't do it, but I did hear of people that did. So, first step is to peel this screen off. Now, nobody's house, no matter how clean and how tidy you are, nobody's house is hermetically sealed. So, you've got to be very quick when you do this and make sure you put this around the right way, because you don't want to trap any dust in between those two layers, as I was saying, and then screw those on. Let's talk now that this is on and on securely. You'd never have to, just a word for the wise, you never have to screw this on too tightly. It doesn't really move. It doesn't have to be so tight that you can't undo it. Otherwise, again, you risk damaging the glass. So as you saw, it's ever so, well, it's only just biting. That's fine. They've redesigned this resin bowl as well, resin tank, because I don't know how well you can see this. I should have showed you when it was out. There's a max line now where you can only fill your resin so far, which is good. With the other one, it was kind of hit and miss. You filled it, sometimes it almost overflowed, which obviously isn't good, because what if that manages to set in between, again, the glass and the resin bath, then you're just going to have an absolute nightmare. You may as well throw the printer away. So That's all put together, that's all nice. I want to know, let's have a look in this toolkit. Now the toolkit, what's this balancing on? My pile of PLA, that's why it's a little bit wobbly. So inside here, oh look, nice copperized Allen key set. Beautiful, with some screws. What else have we got? We got our good old-fashioned power supply. Lucky I've got a kettle lead right there. Yeah, that's perfect. So we're going to put that there. We get the essentials, cable. You get nice little spatula there. You get yourself a resin spatula to get it off. These are brilliant. You only get, I think it's 10 or so per pack. And I went through mine really quickly last time, and I wish I hadn't, because these are funnels where you put this back on top of an open resin bottle, and you were to tip this side only. See where the little mark is there? You're to tip this into here, and this filters out any large or largish particles from going back in the bottle of resin, because obviously you don't keep the resin within the bath unless you've got this cover on. Well, actually, even if you've got the cover on, don't keep it in there, because if it sets, you've got to throw this away. So these are worth the world. There it is. There's the rubber. Is it? I don't know, kind of looks like. Yeah, yes it is, just fold it over. Right, lovely. So, as well as that, you get yourself some gloves. These gloves that come with it, I didn't find were very good. I use these black nitrile gloves. These are excellent, because unlike my whole family who doesn't react to resin, and my wife that uses resin on a daily basis, I react to it. So I used these nitrile gloves, and these are brilliant. So let's have a little look. Let's fit this on. This should be quite simple. There's no sticky on the inside. No, it just goes on. Let me just make sure it's square. Yeah, it is. Okay, fine. Let's just fit this on. You watch me make a right, pigs here of a really simple task. Right, that's on. Apply the curve. That's on. Curve again. That's on. Oh, have I got it? No, I thought I had it twisted then. That's on, that's on, that's on. And then apply this. And the last curve should bring up the tension, which it does beautifully. Now this makes all the difference, because resin is thick, the particles are thick, and the particles will, the smell will permeate anything. It'll stick to your clothes, it'll stick to everything and anything. So having this, so when you put the UV cover back on, there's a nice little cover. Yeah, look at that. That's really nice. Nice little cover between the open resin and you. Now it's red to filter out UV rays to stop the resin from curing. As you'll notice, my blind over here, this is where I had my last resin printer. It's always closed. Even if I've got this on, it's still closed. And also, it's worth noting, have a little something like this. Doesn't have to be Rick and Morty, but you can have anything which really just covers the table. Underneath this, I've got a resin stain that I haven't been able to get rid of for about 2 years. And it's taken the wood off. When I try to scrape it off, it's properly eaten into the wood. So having something that you don't mind getting damaged just protects your table more than anything. Anything else in the box to talk about? Yes, masks. Ooh. Now, you can use these paper masks, and they're absolutely fine. There's a paper mask there. I think I've got another mask around here. No, moved it. You can use masks. They're fine. The masks that I've got, which I haven't got handy, the mask that I've got is an N95 respirator. They are brilliant because they do remove as many particles as possible from, resin particles as possible from the air. So the way that you can cut down on resin particle smell, using water wash resin, having something like a sealer on the bottom, an extraction fan method, have a window open, but obviously the blind's closed, open about yay high, just so that you can get the air flowing, but that you're not curing the resin from the sunlight. And as well as having a mask on. Now, I don't wear a mask in here 24/7 whenever I'm working on other things, but whenever I've got this printer going, I'll always be downstairs. We'll make sure the first layer gets done. Once I see that it's stuck to it, or first few layers rather with resin, then that's it. I move away. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to set the home plate. So with the home plate, what you want to do is you want to unscrew these two Allen key bolts until, as loose as you can, until the top of this plate just kind of bobbles around like that. Essentially what we're having to do next is we're going to level it to ensure that everything works. So we're going to take that out and just stand it up right there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, click tools, click manual, and then we're going to raise the arm so that we can attach this. Now, I'm taking this procedure directly out of the Elegoo manual. This is not how I used to calibrate the Elegoo Mars 1. It was a totally different procedure for that. This one has got me kind of on edge, because what they say that what they want you to do is to slide a little bit of piece of paper underneath here, and then bring down, let's make that a bit smaller, and then bring down this plate until you can't move this. So it's a little way how we, almost the same as how we calibrate a PLA printer, and you put it down on all four corners and in the middle and see if you can move the paper until you can't move it. It's roughly the same as that, but it does have me a little bit nervous. So I've got the manual here, as you can see, just in case I get stuck. But essentially what you should do is put the bit of paper in, make sure these two screws here are extremely loose so that this can bobble about. Make sure that your locking nut here is extremely secure and that it's actually secure onto the armature. Okay, once all that is done and once it's all locked and this can move around freely, click home. And I'm a little bit panicky at this bit. And then what it should do is level the bed like that, and then you see the arm moving up and down. Yeah, there we are. It's the same function as the first Mars. There we go. Now I can't move any part of that. Look, I'm shaking the desk and I can't get the paper out. So if I go back and then go set to 0, is this position as Z equals 0, continue, confirm. So that's it, we've now set that bed level. So what I'll do is then gently tighten it again, going with what the manual says. You want to tighten these up gently, but then making sure that when this raises up, you don't want it to move. You need this to be nice and clear. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this ever so slightly because I'm not happy with one thing, and that is when I put this bed in, is that the same thickness as the FEP film under there, same thickness as a bit of paper? It looks like it might be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise it and I'm going to test it with it locked. So I'm going to raise it up a little bit, stop it, and then click home. Now what it should do this time is the bed should be level anyway. You're still going to have the hammer action. There we go. See, that doesn't look straight, does it? Looking at it from above, that is very much not straight. So I need to unhook these, move that a little bit, and then tighten these back up. Not putting any pressure, forcing down, because of course you don't want that glass to crack. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to raise this up, remove the bit of paper. I'm going to put the resin bath back in and secure it, and then I'm going to see if I've got it level. Because if I haven't got it level, then when it comes to do its first layer, it's going to be, stop that, bring this down. I need to make sure that the plate passes both the sides. This may seem like overkill, but it is very important. It's still not 100% square. Okay, what I'm going to do, click home, let it go home, let it push against the resin bath, and then what I'm going to do yeah, it's slightly Oh, yeah, it's slightly on the curve, slightly down here. It's pushing against the corner here ever so slightly. So what I need to do is raise this up a little bit. And then stop it. And then unscrew it. And unscrew that. You heard the whole plate drop then. So then what I'm going to do, that's all nice and loose. Let's send it home again. Reposition that. Now there's not that much pressure being put on it. Let's move the bed. I can't move the vat, can I? Because that's in there. So let's screw this up. There we go. And then screw that up. And then, if I raise that, there we are, that's what it is. I had this side of the resin tank, as you saw it move, it was too far, it was pushing too far up. So if I click home again, that should now level correctly, which is what it's doing. Perfect. There we have it. So, and that's level. Yeah, that's level. Okay, now what we're going to do is test the exposure. So click Tools, Exposure, and then Next, and it should run through a little calibrate, a little test to make sure that all the UV lights underneath work. It's probably worth me having that on just to protect our eyes from UV, not that there's any resin in there. And then exposure complete. There we are, back. So according to the manual, if you get exposure complete once you've leveled the axis, then your print is ready to go. So there we have it, folks. That's been the unboxing and setup. Not so quick setup, but still it's important to ensure that these are calibrated perfectly, because from word go, you want to be having great prints. So what I'm going to do next, I've got a few other things to show you in coming videos, and then we're going to be looking at the first sort of prints, and I'll take you through the washing and curing process as well. Alright then friends, thanks ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy printing.